Go to any major Californian city and you're going to see electric vehicles. Lots of them. Like on every street corner because, well, California's got a lot of electric cars. And hybrids? Well, they're a dime a dozen. So why does California need more money to push electric vehicles when the rest of the country could use some as well? Yeah. Hi, I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield from Transport Evolved, and today I'd like to talk to you about Electrify America, Volkswagen's $2 billion project to promote and support electric vehicle adoption across the US. Now, just a reminder, Electrify America was set up by Volkswagen as part of its agreement with the US Environmental Protection Agency and the California Air Resources Board when it was found guilty of building and selling diesel-engined cars to customers in the US that included a feature that was hidden in the software of the car's emission system, so that when the car was being tested on a rolling road, the car appeared to meet US air quality standards, but when the car wasn't being driven on a rolling road, emitted more than 40 times the legal nitrogen oxide limit. And Volkswagen lied about it, and it broke the law, and so Electrify America is effectively part of Volkswagen's punishment. As part of its court deal, Volkswagen has committed to investing $2 billion into the Electrify America program. And over the next 10 years, Electrify America will invest that $2 billion into electric vehicle charging infrastructure across the US, as well as promoting the mass adoption of electric vehicles. At the end of February, Electrify America submitted its first proposal for how that money should be spent to the EPA and CARB for their approval. Now, we've only just seen that document because it's only just been made publicly available. And that proposal outlines that in the next 2.5 years, $200 million is going to the state of California to encourage electric vehicle mass adoption and improve electric vehicle charging infrastructure. The rest of the US, well, it's going to get $300 million. That doesn't seem so fair. Okay, I get this. California is the biggest US state by population by a really long way. It's like 37 million plus. It's also the third largest state in the US, and it's the 13th US state in terms of population density. But California already has really great electric vehicle incentives. It already has a really high electric vehicle adoption rate, and it's known across the country as being the most electric vehicle-friendly place to live. So why does it need more money? I'm confused. Now, it could be argued that this first 2.5-year investment cycle, there's going to be 4 more after this, is kind of starting with the easy stuff. And California is an easy place to start. Now, of the total $200 million that's going to be invested into the state of California, $120 million has been earmarked for electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Of that $120 million, $65 million will be spent on installing DC quick charging stations along major US routes within the state of California. Of those charging stations, half will be designed to operate at power levels of around 50 kilowatts, whilst the other half will be designed to operate at higher power levels, up to 320 kilowatts. And it's important to note too that those charging stations will be standard agnostic. They will feature both DC CCS charging and DC CHAdeMO charging. And while Tesla supercharging won't make the list, it's important to note here that you can buy a CHAdeMO to Tesla adapter. So Tesla owners are not going to be left out in the cold. Back to this budget. Of those $120 million assigned to electric vehicle charging in the state of California, a further $40 million is going to go to community projects, which is going to be things like level 2 charging stations and smaller power charging stations that you're going to be using for extended periods of time to top your car's battery up. The final $15 million is going towards infrastructure maintenance, updates, and network costs. And it's important to note here that the charging network being set up by Electrify America won't be free. You'll be expected to pay something towards the electricity you use. Electrify America has hinted that electricity rates will be subsidized during peak periods, so you may end up paying less to charge your electric car at an Electrify America charging station than you might at, say, a Blink charging station. But it's still not going to be free. Of the $300 million that Electrify America is proposing to spend outside of the state of California, $250 million is going towards nationwide electric vehicle charging infrastructure. And of that, it's going to be split between 200 DC quick charging stations along major US routes, and the rest will be spent in up to 300 metropolitan areas where Electrify America says it's identified the need for electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Now, if we just stop this for a second and examine those figures, I think you'll understand that Electrify America's proposal is going to favour California to the detriment of the rest of the US. If Electrify America really is keen to promote electric vehicles nationwide, as the name suggests, it needs to plough the majority of its funds into nationwide network charging programs outside of the state of California. And until that happens, electric vehicles just aren't going to take off. Now, the other thing that concerns me about this proposed budget from Electrify America is the amount of money that's being proposed for electric vehicle advertising. In the state of California, a healthy $20 million has been set aside by Electrify America to promote electric vehicles and electric vehicle use on television, radio, and print media, whereas across the rest of the US, Electrify America has just budgeted $5 million more. Yes, I get it. California has 37 million people, but there's still 280, 290 million people who don't live in the state of California who might be able to drive an electric car. They need to know about them just as much as Californians. Yes, I am a little ticked off about this proposal, and I maybe am being unfair to Electrify America. After all, there are 4 more investment cycles after this one that Electrify America could show that it really does want to bring electric vehicles nationwide. But frankly, right now, it feels like Electrify America is taking the easy way out. And if we really want mass adoption of electric vehicles nationwide, then we need to really push into America's heartlands. With my advocacy hat on, that translates to sending electric cars and electric car roadshows right into the very places where electric vehicles are currently viewed unfavourably. As any EV advocate from Chelsea Sexton through to Robert Llewellyn will tell you, getting people in bums in seats is the most effective way of convincing them that electric cars could be for them. And that's what Electrify America needs to do if it really is going to change the way we think about electric vehicles. Otherwise, this program is going to be the equivalent of a compliance car. It's going to be visible in a few key states, but ineffective everywhere else. Meanwhile, Atlanta, Georgia owes a lot of its electric vehicle success, in previous years at least, to the generous EV incentive program. And when that incentive program ended, people stopped buying electric cars. Now, I understand that Electrify America can't turn those $2 billion into grants to let everybody buy electric vehicles. But what it can do is work harder to improve nationwide charging infrastructure, replicate something that Tesla's done with its supercharger network. And with electric cars like the Chevrolet Bolt and Tesla Model 3 and Nissan Leaf coming to market with ranges in excess of 200 miles per charge, customers are now considering electric vehicles for the first time, because those 200 plus miles of all EV range is higher than the threshold at which most consumers will consider an electric vehicle practical. So really, Electrify America needs to be putting its money where its mouth is and investing in the whole US, not just California. Do you think this proposal from Electrify America is fair? Do you think it favours California to the detriment of the rest of the US? And what is needed before consumers across the whole country can consider an electric vehicle a viable choice for them? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with a TEN because it's Friday and that means the end of the week roundup show. Thanks for watching. I'm Nikki Gordon Bloomfield. Don't forget to support us through Patreon. I'll leave a link below and at the end of this video. And until tomorrow, keep evolving.